Tonight you'll fall asleep in a room where the most dangerous creature is a mosquito. You'll close your eyes without a single thought that something might kill you before sunrise. But just 13,000 years ago, we were already brewing beer, but safety was still thousands of years away. Your ancestors fell asleep in a world where every shadow could be their last. They lived side by side with predators whose size seems like a mistake of nature today. And how we got rid of them is a story that dries out your mouth. Let's start where our species started. Africa. In Swartkron's cave in South Africa, paleoanthropologist C.K. Brain found Australopithecine skulls with two neat holes punched through them. The distance between the holes matched the exact width of a leopard's canines. Something grabbed our ancestor's head like a ball and bit clean through. Leopards, crocodiles, hyenas. In Africa, humans were not at the top of the food chain. We were on the menu. And that lasted for hundreds of thousands of years. But Africa was at least familiar ground. Humans grew up among these animals, learned to read them, avoid them, outsmart them. And then they left for a place where the rules were completely different. In Ice Age Europe, cave lions were waiting. Panthera spelaea, a separate species, not a subspecies of the modern lion, having split off 500,000 years ago. Males reached around 880 pounds, roughly a quarter larger than a modern African lion. But here's what truly stunned researchers. On the walls of Chauvet Cave in France, paintings 36,000 years old, there are dozens of cave lions, and every single one has no mane. On one panel, a male is drawn with a clearly visible scrotum and a bare neck. Everything you've seen in textbooks about maned cave lions is wrong. And the oldest figurative sculpture of a human-like being ever found, the Lion Man of Hohenstein-Stadel, 40,000 years old, also shows a maneless animal. People skinned these lions, painted them on cave walls, and carved a hybrid of human and lion from bone, the oldest figurative sculpture of a human-like figure on Earth. Of all the animals depicted at Chauvet, lions appear the most. But the lion at least hunted outside. What waited inside was worse. Cave hyenas, a subspecies of the modern spotted hyena but heavier, up to around 220 pounds, fought Neanderthals for shelter. Not metaphorically, literally. In dozens of caves across Germany, Spain, and France, archaeologists read the layers like pages. Humans, hyenas, a cycle of takeovers stretching across millennia. In Guattari Cave in Italy, they found the remains of 9 Neanderthals with hyena tooth marks on their bones. Archaeologist Mario Rolfo put it bluntly: Neanderthals were prey. Hyenas hunted the sick and the elderly. But Neanderthals fought back. At 13 sites in Western Europe, researchers found evidence of hyenas being butchered with stone tools. Their teeth were turned into pendants. 2 species shared the same caves for thousands of years, and neither gave ground willingly. Now imagine you're thinking, okay, so the danger is big cats and pack hunters. The animal runs at you on the ground, you see it coming, you at least have a chance to react. Well, in Australia, that rule didn't apply. Thylacoleo carnifex, the marsupial lion, a relative of the koala and the wombat, yes, you read that right, that evolved into a hypercarnivore. It weighed up to 350 pounds. A study by Rowe, McHenry, and Thomason, published in 2005 in Proceedings of the Royal Society, showed that at just 223 pounds, it bit with the force of an African lion weighing 550, the highest bite force quotient of any mammalian predator that has ever lived on Earth. Instead of canines, it had massive incisors. Instead of claws, a retractable thumb blade for gutting prey. Analysis of claw marks in caves in southwestern Australia, published in Scientific Reports in 2016, showed it was an ambush predator that launched itself from above, from the trees, the real-life version of Australia's mythical drop bears. Aboriginal Australians who arrived on the continent 50 to 65,000 years ago encountered it alive. In the northwest Kimberley, researchers found rock paintings of a striped, 4-legged animal with a tuft on its tail. Some scientists attribute them to Thylacoleo. If they're right, people didn't just run into this creature. They remembered it so vividly that they painted it. But even an ambush from a tree is something you can prepare for, once you know it's possible. What awaited the first Americans was something you couldn't prepare for at all. Around 15,000 years ago, humans descended through a corridor between 2 retreating glaciers into North America and walked into the densest concentration of large predators our species has ever faced. The giant short-faced bear, Arctodus simus, over a ton, standing eye to eye with a human on all fours and reaching the ceiling of a standard apartment on its hind legs. In River Bluff Cave in Missouri, they found its claw marks 15 feet off the ground. Paleontologist Paul Mathias showed that biomechanically, this bear was closer to a camel than a cheetah. Not a sprinter, but a tireless walker. And Figueredo and colleagues proved in 2010 that its build was practically identical to modern omnivorous bears. It didn't chase you down, but it didn't need to. Standing alongside it was the American lion, Panthera atrox, even bigger than the European one. The saber-toothed Smilodon at over 600 pounds. Homotherium, a cat that hunted mammoths. Packs of direwolves, which, as a team led by Perry and Mouton showed in Nature in 2021, aren't related to wolves at all. Their lineage split off 5.7 million years ago, and their closest living relative is the African jackal. Plus the jaguar, the brown bear, the gray wolf, the American cheetah. All of it at the same time, in the same landscape. And all you had was a sharpened stone on a stick and the instincts of ancestors who had never seen anything like this. But even here, the danger stayed on the ground. In New Zealand, it came from the sky. Haast's eagle, the largest eagle in the history of Earth. Females reached 33 to 40 pounds with a wingspan of about 10 feet, talons the size of a tiger's claws. Genetic analysis by Bunce and colleagues in 2005 revealed something stunning. Its closest living relative is a tiny Australian eagle weighing less than 2 pounds. From a dwarf to a giant in 1.8 million years, one of the fastest cases of gigantism ever recorded in vertebrates. In Maori mythology, it was called puakai, a giant bird that killed people. And that's not a metaphor. Even a modern golden eagle can kill a young deer, and Haast's eagle was twice as heavy and dove with enough force to snap a spine on impact. And now, the creepiest part. Haast's eagle didn't go extinct in the Pleistocene. It went extinct around 1400 AD, the age of Joan of Arc. Notre-Dame was already standing. Universities already existed. And on the other side of the planet, an eagle with tiger-sized talons was still diving at humans. And here's how it all ended. A study by Bergman and colleagues in 2023, based on 139 genomes of living species, showed that the total decline in megafauna biomass over the last 50,000 years was 92 to 95%. And the timeline of the collapse on each continent lines up not with ice age cycles, but with one single event, the arrival of humans. We didn't just survive that world, we emptied it, but it didn't vanish without a trace. Researcher Lynn Isbell at UC Davis showed that our visual system evolved under pressure from predatory snakes. Experiments by Vanessa Lobu confirmed it. 3-year-olds spot the outline of a snake among distracting objects faster than a flower, long before anyone tells them snakes are dangerous. The fear of darkness, of heights, of large teeth, all of it is written into you deeper than any memory. It's the inheritance of a world where a hyena waited at the mouth of your cave, a predator leaped from the trees, and an eagle dove at you from the sky. You'll fall asleep tonight in complete safety, but when you flinch at a shadow in the corner, know this. That's 300,000 years of evolution whispering, check. Because there was a time when the shadows bit back.